मॉर्निंग। आज हम यहाँ पे ब्रैम्पटन ट्रांजिट के ऊपर हैं और यहाँ पे कुछ मेजर अनाउंसमेंट्स होने वाली हैं। यहाँ पे अभी एक्सपेक्टेड हैं जो रेड टेपिज्म के मिनिस्टर हैं प्रमीत सरकारिया साहब, वो आ रहे हैं और ब्रैम्पटन के मेयर पैट्रिक ब्राउन आएंगे और उनके साथ कुछ और लोग भी होंगे। ये अनाउंसमेंट क्या है और ये क्यों इतनी इंपॉर्टेंट है, जिसको आज हम 770 की टीम यहाँ पे कवर कर रहे हैं, तो उस सिलसिले में आपको आज का एक छोटा सा इवेंट दिखाते हैं और फिर आपसे पूछेंगे कि आपको हमारी ये काविश कैसी लगी।
My name is Alex Milojevic. I'm the general manager here at Brampton Transit. Thank you all for joining us today. It's an exciting infrastructure announcement for public transit here in the city of Brampton. Today we are live at our Sandalwood facility. Our transit system continues to be one of the fastest growing in Canada. We are proud to help move our community even during these uncertain times. Through partnerships with multiple levels of governments, we continue to be able to grow our transit system and offer a much needed, reliable and efficient public transit service for our residents. Today we are joined by the Minister of Community and Infrastructure, the Honourable Catherine McKenna, our Members of Parliament for Brampton West, Kamal Kira, Brampton North, Ruby Sahota, Brampton Centre, Ramesh Sangha, Brampton East, Maninder Sidhu, and Brampton South, Sonia Sidhu. Associate Minister of Small Businesses and Red Tape Reduction and Member of Provincial Parliament to Brampton South, the Honourable Prabmeet Singh Sakaria. Here on behalf of the Honourable Laurie Scott, Ontario's Minister of Infrastructure. So members of Parliament, Provincial Parliament, West is Amarjot Sandhu, and of course our Mayor, His Worship Patrick Brown. And I'd like to recognize too that our Union President, Frank Vanny, is also here, along with our CAO, David Barrick, and Gurdeep Kura, who's our Government Relations Director. So thank you all for joining us today. And I will say that being here and joining part of this whole announcement is extremely exciting for us. So I'd like to invite to the podium Parliamentary Secretary of Ministry of International Development and Member of Parliament for Brampton West, Camille Kura, to deliver some opening remarks. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kamal Kara. I'm a proud Member of Parliament for this beautiful riding of Brampton West, and I'm pleased to join by my outstanding colleagues and our team Brampton, your local Member of Parliaments, Ruby Sahota, Member of Parliament from Brampton North, Sonia Sidhu, Member of Parliament from Brampton South, Maninder Sidhu, Member of Parliament from Brampton East, and Ramesh Sangha, Member of Parliament from Brampton Centre. It is also great to see our provincial counterparts and, of course, our terrific Mayor, Mayor Brown. Thank you for being here. I am extremely pleased to join you for today's announcements, which I know will make a real difference in the lives of Brampton residents. We have faced unprecedented challenges together during this COVID pandemic. The pandemic hasn't just affected the health of Canadians, but it also has profound impact on the economy. And that's why, from the very beginning, our government has been taking decisive actions to support families, to support businesses and our communities like Brampton, and continues to look ahead and see what more we can do. Strategic investments in public transit are critical in building communities where residents of Brampton can thrive. Efficient public transit helps people get to where they need to go and access essential services. And today's announcement will make Brampton Public Transit more sustainable and convenient for users. So to tell you more, I would like to extend a warm welcome to our outstanding Minister of Infrastructure and Communities, the Honourable Catherine McKenna, whom my colleagues and I have had the pleasure of working with on many projects. In fact, it was probably maybe just over a year ago that she was right here in Brampton West at this Sandalwood facility, where our government announced federal funding for electric buses right here in our community. She's no stranger to Brampton and to the needs of our community. So with that, please welcome the Honourable Minister McKenna. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Kamal. I'm so excited to be back in Brampton. It's great. You'd never think I'd be so excited to be at an event, physically distancing, but also with some buses here. So thanks very much to our MC, Alex, and of course, Mayor Brown. Great to be back in your city. And I want to do a special shout out to my colleagues. It's hard because we actually don't see each other a lot, so I'm thrilled to be back here with Kamal Khera, to Sonia Sidhu, to Ramesh Sangha, to Maninder Sidhu, and to Ruby Sahota. You guys are the champions for Brampton, and everyone here should know, and all Bramptonians should know, that basically every day they are talking to me about investments that we need to be making here in Brampton to improve the lives of residents in this community. I want to start, of course, I want to also recognize my Ontario counterparts. While I don't have the minister here, I have Associate Minister Prabmeet Singh Sarkaria and the Member of Provincial Parliament Amarjot Sandhu. I want to start by acknowledging the traditional territory we're gathered on, the Wendat, the Anishinaabe, the Haudenosaunee, Métis, and the Mississaugas of the New Credit First Nation. I'm really happy to be here in Brampton, but more broadly the Greater Toronto area. Even though I am from Hamilton, the Hammer, I love the Toronto area, and I do love Brampton. Look, it's been really hard. I think it's been hard for all Canadians, and I'm sure the residents of Brampton dealing with the impacts of COVID-19. It's not only a health pandemic, it's very much an economic pandemic, and our focus as government has been on how do we keep Canadians safe? How do we keep people who live right here in Brampton safe? How do we support essential workers who support our economy? And now, of course, how do we restart? I'm very proud that we were able to get agreement with provinces and territories on the Safe Restart Agreement, $19 billion invested to help safely restart our communities. Everything from PPE, so personal protective equipment, to support to towns and cities. And I know towns and cities have been after, support. That there's been a loss of revenue associated with public transit. That's been very hard because we need more transit and we need it to be safe. We need essential workers to get to work, but we also need people to get to their jobs and folks to be able to get around. Just last week, I was very happy that to announce that we would be supporting $1 billion towards public transit operations in Ontario. That will mean money right here, Mayor, your worship, to help with the costs associated with COVID-19, the lost revenues, and also to making sure that we keep our public transit safe. We've also invested in the gas tax. That's money that goes towards infrastructure projects. And of course, it was just a year ago that I was here doing an electric bus announcement. And we need to be thinking about the future. We need folks to be able to get around in faster ways so they can get home to see their kids, so they can get to work. In more affordable ways, public transit is an affordable option, and for some people, the only option. And we also need people to be able to get around in cleaner ways. Climate change is real, and we also have real solutions and opportunities, including electric buses that are made right here in Canada. So it's a job story as well. But why am I here today? Well, you can probably get a hint from what's behind me. I'm very pleased to be announcing that we will be investing more than $45.3 million in 4 public transit projects here in Brampton, adding more buses, creating a transit hub, more safety equipment. Okay, that's a great announcement. And why does this matter? Because, as I said, public transit allows Canadians, it allows the residents of Brampton to get around in faster, cheaper, and cleaner ways. That this investment will improve the lives of Brampton residents. Public transit helps get cars off the roads. We're electrifying the transit system here, which is amazing. It also creates jobs. Jobs right here in Brampton, and jobs across the country. And we need to be focusing on the future. While it is extremely hard right now, we will get through this. We will. We are strong. we are Canadians, and we are united, but we need to be continuing to build the future we want. Alors, un petit bout en français. Alors, je suis tellement heureuse d'annoncer que le gouvernement du Canada investit aujourd'hui plus de 45,3 millions de dollars dans ces projets de transport en commun qui permettront d'ajouter plus d'autobus, plus d'équipements de sécurité et un nouveau centre de transport en commun ici à Brampton. Les résidents de Brampton ont besoin de transports en commun fiables et sûrs et un système durable qui puisse se développer au 21e siècle à faible émission de carbone. I have a lot more to say here, but I will cut it short because I know we have a lot more speakers. But I want to recognize that there are other opportunities going forward, that we will continue to invest in Brampton, to build infrastructure like public transit, like wastewater, like affordable housing, because that matters to residents. That is quite frankly why I got into politics. I know that is why all my colleagues got into politics, because they care about improving the lives of people. That is what we are focused on. That is what we will continue to do, and we will continue to do it together. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Minister McKenna, for the announcement, and again for joining us here at Sandalwood. You always bring good weather, just like you did last time. So thank you for that. I'd like to invite to the podium our Member of Provincial Parliament, Amarjot Sandhu.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amarjot Sandhu, and I'm the Member of Provincial Parliament from the Great Riding of Brampton West. I would like to welcome you all to our Great Riding of Brampton West, along with my federal colleague, Kamal Khera. So welcome to Brampton West. This is indeed a great news for Brampton today. Today's investment in new public transit projects will improve Brampton's transit system and create a more sustainable economy. The safety and well-being of Canadians are top priorities of the governments of Canada and Ontario, but the COVID-19 pandemic has affected more than Canadians' personal health. It is also having a profound impact on the economy. That's why governments have been taking decisive action to support families, businesses, and communities, and continue to look ahead to see what more can be done. Strategic investments in sustainable public transportation infrastructure play a key role in supporting Ontarians getting to work, school, and essential services on time and safely back home at the end of the day. To speak more about the provincial government's role in this investment, I would like to call onto the podium my colleague, Honorable Prime Minister Karia, Associate Minister of Small Business and Red Tape Reduction. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much. I'm very pleased to be here today in my community of Brampton to speak on behalf of the Minister of Infrastructure, Laurie Scott, who could not be here, but also on behalf of the Government of Ontario. Thank you, Minister McKenna, for being here. I truly believe that there is no other city like Brampton in this country, so welcome. There is no better place to raise a family, live, work, or play, so welcome. Today's announcement is great news for Brampton and thousands of commuters that travel in, out, and across our vibrant city each and every single day. Last summer, after careful review, we nominated these 4 public transit projects to the federal government for funding under the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program, more commonly known as ICIP. Today, we're celebrating the approval of these projects that will renew and enhance Brampton and improve the quality of life of the residents and the entire region. The projects we are celebrating here today include the purchase of 32 new buses to replace existing vehicles in the fleet. With today's announcement, Brampton will also be able to refurbish 300 existing conventional buses, extending the useful life of the vehicles and improving the capacity and quality of the overall public transit system in the city. The purchase of newer technologies for the entire bus fleet will provide increase safety for users and operators of public transit. Lastly, funding today will also support a new transit hub, increasing the number of bus bays in the existing terminal from 7 to 16, doubling the number of trips that currently service the terminal. The hub will also be future-proofed for a possible switch to electric buses and will feature new bus canopies, an inside waiting area, and concessions. Building a modern, effective, and efficient transit system for hardworking Brampton families has been a priority of mine, my colleague Untitled Sandhu, and this government from day one. And these enhancements will greatly improve access to Brampton's public transit system for residents and for years to come. I know that this provincial funding of more than $37 million will help make life easier for Bramptonians, getting people where they need to be and go and how and when they want to get there. And I'm proud to be a part of a government that has committed over $7.3 billion in transit infrastructures over 10 years in the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program. We can all agree that moving people to jobs and goods to market is a critical piece of our community's economic growth and recovery, especially after COVID-19. That is also why our government worked with our federal partners to secure $2 billion to help Ontario municipalities keep their transit systems running and relieve financial pressures created by COVID-19. This funding is a partnership part of $4 billion in federal and provincial assistance to municipalities secured as part of the Safe Restart Agreement to provide the support they need to respond to COVID-19 and deliver the critical services people rely on every single day. In addition to a share of this new municipal funding, I'm thrilled that Brampton has now been given the green light to move forward with building more public transit infrastructure. Our shovels are ready to begin working to deliver better and more reliable public infrastructure transit services to our communities. Because when investment flows into Brampton, opportunities for hardworking families are sure to follow. This announcement today could not have been done without the participation and help of all three levels of government. I would also like the opportunity to thank Mayor Patrick Brown for all of his advocacy, and also Minister McKenna for once again joining us here today to announce these 4 key priority transit infrastructure projects. I look forward to coming back and making many more announcements right here in my community very soon, and we'll look forward to working with all of my federal counterparts to ensure that Brampton continues to grow. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Associate Minister Sakaria and Brampton West MPP, Untitled Sandhu. Thank you very much. Now I'd like to invite our Mayor, Patrick Brown, up to the podium.
Well, thank you, Alex, and it's great to have everyone here today for this significant announcement. I want to thank our local Brampton MPs, Kamal Khera, Ramesh Sangha, Ruby Sahota, Sonia Sidhu, and Maninder Sidhu, and of course, Amarjit Sandhu, the MPP for Brampton West, and the 2 ministers, Minister Praveen Sakaria and Minister Catherine McKenna. And may I say, it's always great having you visit, Catherine, because every time you visit, you come with a check for the city of Brampton. So the more often we can have her come here, please do. And I have to say that announcement last year was wonderful, and I think it's a start of what's going to be a Canadian success story in electrification of buses. And, you know, Praveen talked about how the transit hub can turn very quickly, transition to electrification. Everything we're doing right now is to make sure that we can have that type of a modern transit system, and we know that you get that. Friends, it's great to have you all here, and I know that this announcement was important to the Prime Minister and the Premier as well. this is a very significant investment in our community. Today's announcement is the largest federal investment in the city's transit system in more than 10 years in terms of Zoom buses. So that's quite significant. The largest investment in 10 years from the federal government and to the provincial government, quite a significant investment as well. $45 million and $37 million respectively. That is great news for the city of Brampton. So I know I petition you often. I'm on your heels often asking for help, but today is a good news day for the city of Brampton. Very significant, and it's needed. It is needed. Let me just say this. Because of our density, and we know, Prabmeet said there's nowhere he'd rather live and raise a family and work than Brampton. Well, many people feel that. We're the fastest growing big city in Canada. People come here because it's a beautiful community, and with that increased density, that increased population, we actually have the fastest growing transit system in terms of ridership as a percentage in all of the GTA in Canada. Our ridership has grown 153%. Think about that. And Alex, your team, and I know Frank Vanny from the ATU is here too. Our transit operators are heroes. 153%. That's something I want to celebrate. And transit's critical. It's not just to get to work or to go to school or carry on your day-to-day activities. It's part of our climate change goals as a city and as a country. Transit's going to be integral to that. And Brampton Council joined 35 other municipalities declaring a climate emergency. It's one thing to declare an emergency, but it's another thing to take the tangible actions to actually reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and with a modern transit system you can do that. And the investments today are going to help us. It's going to be an important first step. As part of our vision for a healthy and green city, we are committed to promoting transit usage and provide high-quality service that reduces the city's overall carbon footprint. The investment today will go directly towards our community and its future, and it is seen by our council as the first significant step in addressing underfunding that we faced over the last 10 years. Council and I are looking forward to building on this announcement. Like I said, we want to have Minister McKenna visit often. We already met with her before today's announcement to talk about our LRT aspirations, our electrification aspirations. So we expect to see lots of Minister Sakaria and Minister McKenna, because we know you get it. We know that you are huge proponents of transit in urban Canada, and we appreciate this partnership today. It's going to help us build a healthy city that is safe, sustainable, and successful. So thank you everyone for coming here today. Stay safe, and thank you so much to our partners in the provincial and federal governments for making this possible. This is a great day for the city of Brampton.
Thank you, Mayor Brown and our city councillors for all the support and advocacy that you have done over the years. It's been very helpful for our transit system here in Brampton. What I'd like to do now, and thank you all for joining us today. It's partnerships like this, the support from all levels of government that helps positively impact the lives of our community and providing a reliable service for public transit within Brampton. So what we're going to do now is we're going to open up for some questions and answers for the media as well. After we conclude that, we'll follow that up by a photo op here in front of the buses, and we're going to stage that, so I don't want a rush of photographers coming forward to take these pictures, and I will coordinate that with you to make sure we respect all the social distancing under the times that we're in. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to open up one question and one follow-up question from the media. We'll start from my right to left, or from you're facing me from your left to right. And we can start off over here for any questions. Anybody just put their hand up if they have a question. Okay.
Hi there, Neda Zafar from The Pointer. So the announcement of the $44.3 million today, is this money going to be covering all 4 of the projects in Brampton, or is the city going to have to be pitching in some money?
So, okay, I don't want to deflect in case somebody wants to answer that, but clearly the $44 million that our Minister McKenna talked about today is the federal government's portion. From that, there's a provincial portion, and from that, there's a city portion as well.
How much is the city portion, and how are you guys going to fund it?
I'm sorry?
How much is the city portion, and how are you guys going to fund it?
The city portion is, the federal government's paying 40%, the province paying 33%, and the actual municipality is paying 27%. The numbers here are, thank you, Mayor Brown. The numbers here are provincial contribution is 37.8 million, and the municipal contribution is 30.3 million. Okay, thank you for your question. Thank you. Next question.
Yes, hi. I would like to know that you have just announced there are 4 different projects in which this money is being spent, but those 4 projects have not been explained. So what are those 4 different transit projects in which this money will be invested?
Absolutely. So the 4 projects that we have approved today from all the levels of government have to do with the downtown hub, which is a new bus terminal in our downtown location. That's a $30 million project. Our other project is the bus refurbishments. So there's 300 vehicles that'll be refurbished. And what that means is a bus typically lasts so many years. A lot of properties replace a bus after 12 years. In the city of Brampton, we carry them through to 18 years to deliver effective and efficient, being fiscally responsible. So at a midlife, around 10 years, what we do is we do a complete refurbishment on our vehicles. And there's a cost to that when you replace engines, transmissions, and refurbish the entire structure of the vehicle. And that's what another project is, helping to refurbish 300 vehicles over that duration of time. The other one is our onboard camera system, the technology that provides some security for our vehicles. That's a replacement program there as well. And the fourth one that we have approved is around the, sorry, I'm just lost my track here on the 4th project. Sorry? I'm sorry, thank you, MP Sahota, appreciate that. I should know that as a GM of Transit. I'm sitting here embarrassed right now. But clearly, it's a replacement of our vehicles. There's 33 buses that are being replaced as they expired after 18 years, and that's another big expenditure that the province and the federal government are funding, and the federal government are providing 40%, province 33%, and the municipality 27%. So I hope that answers your question.
Sir, my follow-up question is that are these 4 projects just for within GTA, or will they be moving out of the GTA as well?
So what I can speak to, these 4 projects are within the city of Brampton. These are city of Brampton approved projects. There are other projects that are through the application process with ISIP funding, but these are specific Brampton projects only. Okay, thank you. Next question. So next one with a hand up, we'll go over to that. Anybody else with a question? If we're seeing none, then thank you. What we'll do now is, if I can ask the Minister, MPs, MPPs, and our Mayor to come forward for a photo op, and if we can maybe have a line formed, keeping 6 feet apart on your right or my left, and we'll have the photographers come up one at a time to take the photos.
Minister Sarkaria Sahab, thank you very much for talking to us. ਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਜਿਹੜੀ announcement ਹੋਈ ਹੈ ਥੋੜੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੋ।
ਅੱਜ ਇੱਥੇ ਜੋ both ਤਿੰਨੇ ਲੈਵਲ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟਸ ਨੇ over $100 million ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਿਟੀ ਆਫ ਬ੍ਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਨੂੰ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਬ੍ਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਸਿਟ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਸੋ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬੱਸਸ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਵੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਆ 32 new buses can come here, over 300 buses can be refurbished, new technology on buses, as well as a new and improved bay for buses that can improve transit. So ਇਹ historic investment ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਜੋ ਕਿ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਪਿਛਲੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਾਫੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਨੈਗਲੈਕਟ ਕੀਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਸੀ ਫੰਡਿੰਗ me and Amarjot Sandhu have been fighting hard at Queen's Park ਵੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਇੱਕ ਬ੍ਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਬਹੁਤ ਫਾਸਟ ਗਰੋਇੰਗ ਏਰੀਆ ਹੈਗਾ ਵੀ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਹੋਰ ਫੰਡਿੰਗ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਹੈ ਸੋ ਅੱਜ 10 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਇੰਨੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦੇ ਇੰਨੀ ਬਿਗ ਅਮਾਊਂਟ ਫੰਡਿੰਗ ਦਾ ਆਇਆ ਹੈਗਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ ਬ੍ਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ and I'm very happy to be here to support this historic day with my colleague Amarjot.
ਅਮਰਜੋਤ ਜੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸੋ ਇਹ ਕਾਫੀ ਅਰਸੇ ਤੋਂ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਦੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਡਿਮਾਂਡ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਜ਼ਿਟ ਸਿਸਟਮ ਅੱਛਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਬ੍ਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਨ ਆਫ ਦਾ ਫੈਸਟੈਸਟ ਗਰੋਇੰਗ ਸਿਟੀਜ਼ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਦੋਂ ਦੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਲੈਵਲ ਤੇ ਇਸ ਉੱਤੇ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਬ੍ਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀ ਫੈਸਿਲਿਟੀ ਲਿਆਈ ਜਾਏ
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੈਂਸ਼ਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਕਿ ਬਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਸ ਵਨ ਆਫ ਦਾ ਫਾਸਟੈਸਟ ਗਰੋਇੰਗ ਸਿਟੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਇੰਟੀਰੀਅਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਨਫੈਕਟ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇਹ ਸੈਕੰਡ ਲਾਰਜੈਸਟ ਸਿਟੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇੰਟੀਰੀਅਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੋ ਇਨਵੈਸਟਮੈਂਟਸ ਇੱਥੇ ਪਿਛਲੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਹੀਏ 10-15 ਸਾਲ ਤੋਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਕਹਿ ਲਓ ਕਾਫੀ ਸਿਟੀ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਸੀ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀ ਸੀ ਬਿਹਾਈਂਡ ਕੋਈ ਇਨਵੈਸਟਮੈਂਟਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀ ਹੋ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਜ਼ਿਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੋ ਇਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਹਿਸਟੋਰਿਕ ਇਨਵੈਸਟਮੈਂਟ ਹੈ ਅਲੋਂਗ ਵਿਦ ਦਾ ਫੈਡਰਲ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਤੇ ਮਿਊਨਿਸਪਲ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟਸ $113 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਨਵੈਸਟ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਬਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਦੇ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਜ਼ਿਟ ਸਿਸਟਮ ਨੂੰ ਇੰਪਰੂਵ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਅਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਸਸਟੇਨੇਬਲ ਇਕਨੋਮੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਚੱਲੂਗੀ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਹਿ ਲਓ ਕਿ $45 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵਾ ਸਿਟੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਫੈਡਰਲ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਇਨਵੈਸਟ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਆ $38 ਬਿਲੀਅਨ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਇਨਵੈਸਟ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਆ ਤੇ $30 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਜੀ ਸਿਟੀ ਆਫ ਬਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਇਨਵੈਸਟ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਆ ਸਾਡੀ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇਨਫਰਾਸਟ੍ਰਕਚਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਾਫੀ ਇਨਵੈਸਟਮੈਂਟ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ $144 ਬਿਲੀਅਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਡਾ 10 ਸਾਲ ਦਾ ਟੀਚਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਕਿ 10 ਸਾਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ $144 ਬਿਲੀਅਨ ਇਨਵੈਸਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਇਨਫਰਾਸਟ੍ਰਕਚਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਓਵਰਆਲ ਤੇ ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਜ਼ਿਟ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੀਏ ਤੇ $17.5 ਬਿਲੀਅਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵਾ 10 ਸਾਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਾਡੀ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਦਾ ਟਾਰਗੇਟ ਆ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਜ਼ਿਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਨਵੈਸਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਜ਼ਿਟ ਦੇਖੋ ਆਪਣੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੈਂਸ਼ਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਗਰੋ ਕਰ ਰਹੀ ਆ ਸੋ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਆ ਕਿ ਆਪਣੀ ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਲੈਵਲਸ ਆਫ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਜ਼ਿਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਇਨਵੈਸਟਮੈਂਟ ਕਰੇ
ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਵੈਰੀ ਮਚ ਫॉर
ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਸੋ ਮਚ
ਮਨਿੰਦਰ ਜੀ ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਵੈਰੀ ਮਚ ਫॉर ਟਾਕਿੰਗ ਟੂ ਅਸ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਬੜੇ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੋਵੋਗੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਬਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੜੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਅੱਜ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟ ਦੀ ਅਨਾਉਂਸਮੈਂਟ ਆਈ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਵਿੱਚ
ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਲਿਸਨਰਸ ਤੇ ਵਿਊਅਰਸ ਨੂੰ ਮੇਰੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਪਿਆਰ ਭਰੀ ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਆਪਣਾ ਮਨਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੱਧੂ ਐਮਪੀ ਫੈਡਰਲ ਮੈਂਬਰ ਆਫ ਪਾਰਲੀਮੈਂਟ ਫॉर ਬਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਈਸਟ ਅੱਜ ਬਹੁਤ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਵਾਲਾ ਦਿਨ ਹੈਗਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਫੈਡਰਲ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਸਾਰੇ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਐਮਪੀ ਰਲ ਕੇ ਵੀ ਬ੍ਰਾਟ ਅ $45 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਅਨਾਉਂਸਮੈਂਟ ਟੂ ਦ ਸਿਟੀ ਆਫ ਬਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੇਅਰ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਸੁਣਿਆ ਹੋਣਾ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ 10 ਸਾਲ 'ਚ ਇੰਨੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਇਨਵੈਸਟਮੈਂਟ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਹੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਗਈ ਸੋ ਇਟਸ ਵੈਰੀ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਦੈਟ ਵੀ ਇਨਕਰੀਜ਼ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਜ਼ਿਟ ਕੈਪੈਸਿਟੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਪਣਾ ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਅਨਾਉਂਸਮੈਂਟ ਹੈਗਾ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਜ਼ਿਟ ਹਬ ਹੋਊਗਾ over 300 buses ਦਾ refurbishment and new buses ਤੇ plus safety ਤੇ security system ਜਿਹੜੇ video recording on the buses for the safety of passengers ਸੋ ਇਹ ਸਿਰਫ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਜ਼ਿਟ ਅਨਾਉਂਸਮੈਂਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਗਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਰੈਜ਼ੀਡੈਂਟਸ ਨੂੰ ਹੋਰ ਆਪਸ਼ਨ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਵੀ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਜ਼ਿਟ ਲਈ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਗੱਡੀਆਂ ਦਾ ਪੋਲੂਸ਼ਨ ਆ ਥੋੜ੍ਹਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਘੱਟ ਜੂਗਾ ਸੋ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਆਪਣੇ ਗ੍ਰੀਨ ਹਾਊਸ ਗੈਸ ਐਮਿਸ਼ਨਸ ਆ ਤਕਰੀਬਨ 50% ਸਾਡੇ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਟਰਾਂਸਪੋਰਟੇਸ਼ਨ ਸੈਕਟਰਸ ਦਾ ਪੈਸੇਂਜਰ ਵਹੀਕਲਸ ਦਾ ਪੋਲੂਸ਼ਨ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਆ ਸੋ ਇਟਸ ਅ ਵੈਰੀ ਪੋਜ਼ਿਟਿਵ ਸਟੈਪ ਟੁਵਰਡਸ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਜ਼ਿਟ ਕੈਪੈਸਿਟੀ ਐਂਡ ਰਿਡਿਊਸਿੰਗ ਪੋਲੂਸ਼ਨ ਸੋ ਆਈ ਐਮ very happy along with my respected MPs here in Brampton that we are able to bring this money here to Brampton and we will continue to advocate for Canadians as that's what we are. So anytime anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to your MPs ਜਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਆਫਿਸ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਫੋਨ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ we are here with you so thank you
ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਵੈਰੀ ਮਚ
thank you very much
ਰੂਬੀ ਜੀ ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਵੈਰੀ ਮਚ ਫॉर ਟਾਕਿੰਗ ਟੂ ਅਸ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਅੱਜ ਦੱਸੋ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਬੜੀ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੋਵੇਗੀ ਕਿ ਬਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਤਨੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਅਨਾਉਂਸਮੈਂਟ ਆ ਗਈ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਇਸ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਤਨੇ ਅਰਸੇ ਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਸੋ ਔਰ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਇਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਸੈਸ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਥਰੂ ਹੋਇਆ
ਦੇਖੋ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹੀ ਮੇਅਰ ਪੈਟਰਿਕ ਬਰਾਊਨ ਨੇ ਵੀ ਕਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਪਿਛਲੇ 10 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਜ਼ਿਟ ਸਿਟੀ ਆਫ ਬਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਦੇ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਜ਼ਿਟ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟ 'ਚ ਇੰਨੀ ਇਨਵੈਸਟਮੈਂਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਈ ਹੈਗੀ I would say we monthly talk to the city about ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਲਿਸਟ ਤੇ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟਸ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਰੈਡੀ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ ਔਨ ਦ ਗੋ ਲਈ ਐਂਡ ਸੋ ਇਹ ਲਿਸਟ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੁਝ ਟਾਈਮ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਗਈ ਸੀ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੈਬਨਿਟ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਫਾਈਨੈਂਸ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਐਂਡ ਆਫ ਕੋਰਸ ਦੀ ਇਨਫਰਾਸਟ੍ਰਕਚਰ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਜੋ ਅੱਜ ਆਈ ਹੋਈ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਰਹੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਐਂਡ we knew that signal signs were good plus ਜੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੰਜੇ MPs ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਬਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ we are usually all on the same page, which is very helpful. We have a great team and ਅੱਜ minister ਵੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਹੀ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੀ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਆਉਂਦੇ you have a good team because we are all advocating for the same projects. We are here to support our city to make sure that ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਜੋ building dreams ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਜੋ city plans ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ realize ਹੋਣ and that they should become a reality. So I would say even Alec, who's here from the Brampton Transit, जो आज MC कर रहे सीगे Brampton Transit भी नहीं हो यही big demand सीगियाँ and वो सब दियाँ सब जिस तरह मैं पिछली बार elections भी कहनी आई हैं भी जिन्ने भी cities दियाँ projects साढ़े कोल आए हैगे ने federal level ते असी वो सारे projects approve किते हैगे ने and आज भी खास करके इन्ना दी जो list ते जिन्ने भी transit projects सीगे other than I think one more hub जेड़ा असी देख रहे हैगे हैं they've been approved so it makes me very happy.
Thank you very much for your call.
Thank you.
Mr. McKenna, thank you very much. It's so good to see you in Brampton and today's announcement has been amazing. So for how long you have been hearing about the problems of Brampton Transit and what went into this whole thing? Please walk us through the journey.
Well, you know what? We have amazing members of parliament representing Brampton, and they are always talking to me about how do we improve lives of people in Brampton. That's why I got in politics. That's why they did. And so we've been making investments in public transit. I was here over a year ago talking about a big investment we were making in electrification of buses, which is really important. We need to be making sure we do things that improve our environment. Today, we made an announcement, $45 million. Federal government's putting in 40% of the money to expand the fleet, so more buses, also a new transit hub. And this is thanks to our members of parliament. They tell me, like, these are the, things that people in Brampton need, and it's going to make a real difference. It's also about creating jobs. It's about people getting around safely. And this is part of our commitment to cities, including Brampton. We announced that we are accelerating the gas tax. That's more money to invest in infrastructure for the city of Brampton. We just announced, as part of the $19 billion Safe Restart Agreement with the provinces, that the federal government will spend $1 billion helping transit authorities across Ontario. It's been a hard time, less people using transit, so they've had a money crunch, and so we're supporting them. And I'm just going to keep on working here every day with members of parliament, getting better, transportation built, but also broadband. We need more high-speed broadband. We need more housing. We need more wastewater. And this is about improving lives.
Thank you very much for your comments.
Thanks very much. Bye.
Thank you. ਹਾਂਜੀ ਕਮਲ ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਵੈਰੀ ਮਚ ਫॉर ਟਾਕਿੰਗ ਟੂ ਅਸ ਇਹ ਤੇ ਇਤਨੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਅਨਾਉਂਸਮੈਂਟ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਬ੍ਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਵੈਸਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਔਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹਾਊ ਡੂ ਯੂ ਫੀਲ ਅਬਾਊਟ ਇਟ ਇਹ ਤੇ ਬੜੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਰਾਈਡਿੰਗ ਬੜੀ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਹੈ ਬਈ
Ji, bilkul. I think Brampton West is the most beautiful riding and the most important riding, I think, in Canada. And I can say that because I proudly represent this community. I think ਜਿਵੇਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਜਾਣਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ COVID-19 ਦਾ ਪੈਂਡੈਮਿਕ ਨੇ ਨਾ ਹੀ ਸਿਰਫ health of Canadians and Bramptonians ਨੂੰ ਇਫੈਕਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ, it has had a huge impact on the economies. ਤੇ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਆਪਾਂ slowly economy ਖੋਲ ਰਹੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, it is so important ਜਿਵੇਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੇ from the very beginning supporting businesses, supporting families, and now we're going to continue to support communities. So ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ $45 million from the federal government that's going to help right here in Brampton West, in Brampton, to help make sure that ਆਪਾਂ additional buses add ਕਰੀਏ, to make sure ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਿ repairs ਹੈਗੀਆਂ buses ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਰੀਏ, and to also make sure ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ to also invest in a new transit facility ਕਿਉਂਕਿ Brampton is a growing community. So ਮੈਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੈਗੀ ਹਾਂ ਅੱਜ to see all levels of government come together and to make sure that we move forward and to move Brampton forward.
ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਰੋਨਾ ਵਾਇਰਸ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ ਹੁਣ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਠੀਕ ਹੋ
ਜੀ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਮੈਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ I've been very blessed and that I have full recovery ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਜਿੰਨੇ ਵੀ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਹੈਲਥ ਤੇ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲੀ ਹੈਲਥ ਕੇਅਰ ਵਰਕਰਸ ਹੈਗੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੂੰਗੀ ਕਿ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ played a huge role ਤੇ ਨਾਲੇ every single day they're still working so hard for all of us. So I'm very thankful to Public Health, Peel Public Health, and to everyone for their good wishes and for all their blessings as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
ਸੰਗਾ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਬਹੁਤ ਸ਼ੁਕਰੀਆ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਤੇ ਵੈਸੇ ਬ੍ਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਸੈਂਟਰ ਨੂੰ ਰਿਪਰੈਜ਼ੈਂਟ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਲੇਕਿਨ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਬ੍ਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਤਨੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕੁਝ ਖਬਰੀ ਆ ਗਈ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਸੋਚਿਆ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵੀ ਕੁਝ ਕਮੈਂਟਸ ਲੈ ਲਈਏ ਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਵਿੱਚ
ਜੀ ਵੈਸੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਅਨਾਉਂਸਮੈਂਟ ਹੈ ਅੱਜ ਦੀ ਦਿਨ ਦੀ ਅੱਜ ਦੀ ਅਨਾਉਂਸਮੈਂਟ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਇਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਹੁਣ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਆ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਸਪੀਚਾਂ ਸੁਣੀਆਂ ਫੈਡਰਲ ਇਨਵੈਸਟਮੈਂਟ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਿੰਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਇਨਵੈਸਟਮੈਂਟ ਤੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਮਿਊਨਿਸਪੈਲਿਟੀ ਤਿੰਨਾਂ ਪਾਰਟਨਰਸ ਨੇ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਇੱਕ ਟੇਬਲ ਤੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਸੋਚਿਆ ਕਿ ਇਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਮੈਂ ਬ੍ਰੈਂਪਟੋਨੀਅਨਸ ਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਮੁਬਾਰਕਬਾਦ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਵਧੀਆ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਕੋਵਿਡ ਦੇ ਟਾਈਮ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਇਨਵੈਸਟਮੈਂਟਾਂ ਆ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਤਰੱਕੀ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਆ ਬ੍ਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਅੱਗੇ ਵਧੂਗਾ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਵਧੂਗਾ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਤਰੱਕੀ ਦਾ ਕਾਰਨ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਟਰਾਂਸਪੋਰਟੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ ਜੇ ਸਿਟੀ ਦੀ ਟਰਾਂਸਪੋਰਟੇਸ਼ਨ ਵਧੀਆ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਜੀ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵਧੀਆ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਣੀਆਂ ਫੈਸਿਲਿਟੀਆਂ ਦੇ ਮੁਤਾਬਕ ਇੱਕ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਤੋਂ ਦੂਜੀ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਤੇ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ ਸਟੂਡੈਂਟਸ ਸੀਨੀਅਰਸ ਕੰਮਾਂ ਤੇ ਜਾਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਹਰ ਕੋਈ ਲੇਜਰ ਕੋਈ ਕਿਸੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦਾ ਵੀ ਜਾਣਾ ਹੈ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਟਰੈਵਲ ਕਰਨਾ ਔਰ ਮੌਕੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਹ ਵਧੀਆ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਵਧੀਆ ਬੱਸਾਂ ਵਧੀਆ ਟਰਾਂਜ਼ਿਟ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਵੇ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲੋਂ ਹੋਰ ਕੋਈ ਵਧੀਆ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੀ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਮੁਬਾਰਕ ਸਾਜੀਆ ਜੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਮੁਬਾਰਕਬਾਦ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਚੰਗਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਸਾਰੀ ਟੀਮ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਮੁਬਾਰਕ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੇ ਵਧੀਆ ਕੰਮ ਉਪਰਾਲੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਇੱਕ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਨੂੰ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀ ਦੇਣ ਆ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੇ ਰੂਬਰੂ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਔਰ ਹਰ ਵੇਲੇ ਖੁਸ਼ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਔਰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਖੁਸ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ
ਥੈਂਕ ਯੂ ਵੈਰੀ ਮਚ
ਬਹੁਤ ਮਿਹਰਬਾਨੀ ਜੀ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਫਿਰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਿਆਰ ਭਰੀ ਨਮਸਕਾਰ ਸਤਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਆਦਾਬ
Ji. Mayor Brown, we are extremely happy. This is such a huge announcement and it has come in your Brampton while you are the mayor. How does it feel?
It feels great. 300 buses being refurbished, 32 new buses, investments in our transit hub and our transit bays. This is important to having a modern transit system. So we're grateful that the federal and provincial governments have come to the table to participate. I've always said Brampton needs its fair share, and today we have some federal and provincial help.
So what do you think, how much ridership will increase with all these new initiatives that have been taken and announced today?
Well, Brampton's ridership is growing, 153% transit growth over the last 10 years, fastest growing transit system in the country. So it will continue to grow. If you build the modern system, people will use it.
Okay, I have also heard that you are bringing a university over here and you have been trying to coordinate with some of the biggest universities. So please tell us about that initiative also, because that also is a great question of the Bramptonians, because their children are going out of Brampton to study.
So we're working with the provincial government to get a university in Brampton, and we're in the midst of those discussions. So I'm cautiously optimistic that we're going to get there, because I believe young people deserve post-secondary educational opportunities here at home.
So what is Brampton U? What is that initiative?
Well, we want to have our own university in Brampton, and so we're talking about partnerships. We're talking about how we build our own university. So yeah, we're working to convince the provincial government, and stay tuned.
Thank you very much for your comment.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Mia ji, thank you very much for talking to us. ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਰਾਈਡਿੰਗ ਤੇ ਵੈਸੇ ਬ੍ਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਸਾਊਥ ਹੈ, ਲੇਕਿਨ ਬ੍ਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੜੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਅਨਾਉਂਸਮੈਂਟ ਆ ਗਈ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਇਹ ਹੋ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦਾ ਸੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲੋਂ ਪੁੱਛੀਏ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਪਿਆ ਸੀ, ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਇਹ ਆਈ, ਕੁਝ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਜ਼ਰਾ ਤਫਸੀਲ ਦੱਸੋ ਥੋੜੀ ਜੀ।
ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਸ਼ਾਜੀਆ ਜੀ, ਬ੍ਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਡਾਊਨਟਾਊਨ ਬ੍ਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਸਾਊਥ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਡਾਊਨਟਾਊਨ ਹੱਬ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਜ਼ਿਟ ਹੱਬ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਅਨਾਉਂਸ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ, ਵਿਚ ਇਜ਼ ਇਨ ਮਾਈ ਰਾਈਡਿੰਗ, ਐਂਡ ਦੈਨ ਵੀ ਆਰ ਆਲ ਪੁਸ਼ਿੰਗ ਵੈਰੀ ਹਾਰਡ। ਸੋ ਅੱਜ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਰਿਜ਼ਲਟ ਡਿਲੀਵਰ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈਗਾ, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਬ੍ਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਡਾਊਨਟਾਊਨ 'ਚ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਜ਼ਿਟ ਹੱਬ ਆਈ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ, ਉਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕਿ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਕਿ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸਿਸ ਨੂੰ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਹੋਊਗਾ। ਮੋਸਟਲੀ ਬ੍ਰੈਂਪਟੋਨੀਅਨ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਰਿਲਾਈ ਔਨ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਾਡੀ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਜ਼ਿਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ, ਅਤੇ ਡੈਫੀਨੇਟਲੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਅੱਜ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਮਕੈਨਾ ਸੈਕਿੰਡ ਟਾਈਮ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਏ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਵਿਦ ਬਿਗ ਚੈੱਕ। ਸੋ ਬਹੁਤ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈਗੀ, ਵੀ ਆਰ ਆਲ ਐਕਸਾਈਟਿਡ ਕਿ ਬ੍ਰੈਂਪਟਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਹੁਤ ਵੱਡੀ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਜ਼ਿਟ ਹੱਬ ਬਣਨ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ। ਸੋ ਬ੍ਰੈਂਪਟੋਨੀਅਨ ਵੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਸੁਣ ਕੇ ਕਿ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ 7 ਬੇਸ ਸੀ, ਇਟਸ ਮੋਰ ਦੈਨ ਡਬਲਿੰਗ ਦ ਕਪੈਸਿਟੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ 16 ਬੇਸ ਬਣਨ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਆ। ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖੋ ਕਿ ਬਾਥਰੂਮ ਐਂਡ ਦ ਵੇਟਿੰਗ ਏਰੀਆ ਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਮਕੈਨਾ ਨੇ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਸੇਫਟੀ 2 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਦੇ ਕੈਮਰਾਜ਼ ਜਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਰੀਫਰਬਿਸ਼ਮੈਂਟ ਬੱਸਾਂ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੋਣ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ, ਐਂਡ ਮੂਵਿੰਗ ਔਨ ਦ ਨਿਊ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵਰਜ਼ਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ ਇਲੈਕਟ੍ਰਿਕ ਬੱਸਿਸ ਸੀਗੀਆਂ। ਸੋ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਟਾਈਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਇਹਦੀ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰਤ ਸੀਗੀ, ਇਟ ਵਾਜ਼ ਮਚ ਨੀਡਡ ਫॉर ਬ੍ਰੈਂਪਟੋਨੀਅਨ। ਸੋ 40% ਜਿਹੜੀ ਫੈਡਰਲ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਇਨਵੈਸਟ ਕਰਨ ਜਾ ਰਹੀ ਆ, more than $45 million, which is a great news for Bramptonian. ਤੇ ਅੱਜ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਰਿਜ਼ਲਟ ਡਿਲੀਵਰ ਹੋਇਆ ਤੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਜੀ।
Thank you very much for your comment.
Thank you for having me on your TV show, and then thank you for spreading our message.
Thank you very much. Alex, thank you very much for talking to us. You as the general manager must be the happiest person today. What do you have to say about this announcement that has been made by Minister McKenna?
Well, we're always happy when we hear the federal government and the provincial governments coming out with funding to help transit systems. As you well know, there's a lot of financial pressures on transit systems, especially during the COVID times. So hearing an announcement like today was very, very rewarding. And it'll certainly help us deliver a more efficient and reliable transit system in the city of Brampton, which, as you know, is one of the fastest growing transit systems in Canada. So we're really proud of that and really happy that the fact that the federal and provincial governments came out today to announce this.
How much do you think it will help Bramptonians in getting quickly and swiftly wherever they want to? Because some of the buses were very old and it was, the victim of wear and tear, and then there were some other complaints as well. So how long this federal commitment and the provincial commitment will go in improving the transit?
So the federal and provincial government's commitment here will definitely help us in terms of reliability of transit. All of our vehicles always maintained in a safe manner. When you get to a certain age with a vehicle, you have to do a refurbishment, and this is part of this funding. Clearly, without the support from the provincial and federal governments, it would be hard to sustain a fleet, a state of good repair, what we call. But clearly, with this announcement, it'll help us sustain that fleet, and it'll help us provide the level of services that we need to provide to our community.
Thank you very much for your comments, and congratulations once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thanks.
तो ये था जनाब हमारा आज का ये इवेंट जो हमने कवर किया यहाँ पे ब्रैम्पटन ट्रांजिट में, और हमें खुशी है कि आप हमारे साथ रहे, हमारे साथ इसी तरह जुड़े रहिए। और भी कुछ ऐसे कम्युनिटी के इवेंट्स जो हम आपके साथ लाएंगे। मुझे शाजिया मलिक को और कैमरा वुमन यास्मीन को इजाज़त दीजिए। आपसे फिर मुलाकात होगी। खुदा हाफिज़।